Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. Hi, my name is Laura and I am a yarn dyer and a yarn festival director from the most easterly town in England. I am coming to you from Folk Yarn Studio, which is my workspace here in Suffolk. This is my happy little corner of the internet where I come to talk all about my crafty life. If you're a returning viewer and you know all this already, hi, thank you so much for coming back. If you're a new viewer, welcome to the chaos. You can find me in lots of different places. I'm Folk Yarn Studio on Instagram and East Anglia Yarn Festival. I have a website for both and all of the stuff will be below. Mainly, I can be found in the Folk Yarn Studio Discord hangout. The link to join is below. It is a free, friendly, fun space where we come to chat mainly about knitting, crochet and other crafty stuff. It's also where I run a few Makealongs. One is the finished objects prize draw thread. So if you make something that is 50% or more my yarn, whether that be folk yarn or my hand-dyed yarn, you can enter your finished objects into there and you can be eligible for prizes which I draw quarterly. I also have a 5 minutes a day crafting challenge thread in there, which is just my little space to come in and talk about the little things that I am working on each day and find out a little bit about the things that you guys are working on. It's a reminder really to try and spend a little bit of time each day for me to decompress and for all of us really to have a little bit of fun. To be honest, half the time I end up wanting to make things that other people are making. And if we're talking about Makealongs, I will just mention the Friends That Grimble Together Makealong, which is running at the moment. It is a Makealong that I'm co-hosting with my lovely friend Helen of Giddy Yarns. We both have channels in our Discord groups for you to post your finished gnomes. Gnomes are from patterns by Sarah Schira, so those will either be from the Gnomes of Grimblewood book or from the patterns that Sarah has available online. You don't have to make a set amount of gnomes. I'm trying to make 8. You don't have to make a certain amount. Everyone that you enter into that thread will make you eligible for a prize. The more gnomes that you make, the more chances you have of winning a prize. So I'll put this back. Today is Friday, the 2nd of May. I have tried to record this podcast yesterday on the 1st of May, the day before, when it was still April. Everything has gone wrong this week. If it could go wrong, it has gone wrong. And here we are on Friday and I'm still desperately trying to get this done. We're on to episode 30, obviously not including the 80 or whatever back episodes I had before that. And yeah, I'm really enjoying being back to this and getting into it more regularly and also working on a weekly format, meaning that I don't have lots of things stacking up and haven't got to record something that's going to be really long for me to have to edit. So I'm enjoying it. If you haven't been here before, the way I work is I talk through my finished objects, then my whips, then plans usually, and then I talk about a featured product from my shop, because some of the things that I have here are things that I wholesale from other makers or other businesses, things that I like. So I've started talking about one of those each week, and then I go into any shop news that I might have, and then reading, watching, live stuff and things like that. If you do like what you see and you fancy giving me a thumbs up, a comment or a subscribe, every little interaction with my podcast can help my channel grow, help my small business grow, and I am eternally grateful. So without further ado, let's move into finished objects. And I have finished objects. First up, we have Nori, the pocket beard gnome. So I don't know if you can see this, so to save me trying to see if you can see this, trying to see if it's focusing, I am going to put a picture up on the screen so that you can see my gnome in all its glory. This is Nori the Pocket Beard Gnome, which is a pattern from the Gnomes of Grimblewood book. So for the Makealong, I am working through the book. You don't have to do that, it's not like a rule, it's just what I'm choosing to do. So this is Nori. I'm going to put a picture up closer for you guys to see of what I'm looking at here because it might not be focused. My Nori looks a little different. I think last week I said that I was going to use some colours that I was dyeing for Star Wars Day to make this one. If I didn't say that, then I've just imagined it. But that is exactly what I have done. I'm still using the undyed DK weight yarn that I ripped out from my Sweet Shop blanket before I changed the colours on that to make all of the little bits that go with it. So the hands and the beard and the nose. This gnome, you are meant to make the hat and the pockets from one colour and the body, the feet and the arms from the other colour. I did a thing because I'm eternally lazy. I had the larger size needles for this out and ready. I hadn't hunted out the smaller size needles. So I made the entire thing in the larger needles. However, when you make this gnome in the DK weight, in the back of the book it does say exactly how much you need of each yarn, and I believe it said you needed 19 grams of the body yarn to be able to make this gnome. Well, I had a 20-gram mini, but I didn't go back down to the needle size that it said you were meant to do the majority of this gnome in, so I used more yarn than I should have done, which meant that I had just enough yarn to make the body and the feet and not enough left over to do the arms. I could have cracked into another mini skein and done the arms from the same colour. I didn't want to, I can't be bothered. I had more of this left, so I used this instead. So the arms don't match. I realise it's not the look you're meant to go for. I don't care, it's my gnome. I would rather do that than use a little scrap of another mini to make the arms. I like that my Nori is different. Onto the yarn, this is my hand-dyed yarn. This is the Lonely Knitter, which is what I call my hand-dyed side of my business. And these are my Star Wars Day colours for 2025. So this one, I can't say the name of this colourway without saying it in a certain way. I'm sure you'll understand if you have watched the Star Wars movies. So this colourway is called Stay on Target. Yeah, so like so Stay on Target, that's as normal as I can get it, is the body colourway, and then the hat and arms and pockets is a Dyad in the Force. I almost didn't call it that. I was really tempted with There Are More of Us, when everybody comes at the very end from all across the galaxy to come in and support the resistance, and Lando says, "There are more of us, Poe." Yeah, there are more of us. So I nearly called it There Are More of Us, but it really comes from the scene where the Emperor is looking at Rey and Ben Solo and says, "A Dyad in the Force." That's not as creepy as he says it, but you know what I mean. So, dorked out majorly on my gnome. My gnome has, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it actually. Can you hear that? My gnome has some marbles in his bum to help him stay flat, because I'm still out of those little wooden pellets, which actually worked really well on my someone to write gnome about gnome. I need to buy more of those because they worked really well, and yeah, I haven't yet bought any more of them, so I'm still working with marbles in the bum of my gnomes. So you can go up there. My little Star Wars gnome ready for Star Wars Day, which is May the 4th, which is Sunday, only 2 days away. How has that happened? This week has actually gone by in the blink of an eye. Still loving the gnomes. That's my April gnome. We are in May now, but I have until the end of May to make my next gnome, so I am up to date on the Friends That Grimble Together Makealong. And I also, actually, technically I suppose I'm ahead because I have made a few other gnomes that I didn't put in my original gnome plan, so I'm feeling pretty good about that too. On to my next one. I have another finished object. The tiny scarf is finally finished. I haven't blocked it because who is that organised? Definitely not me. I enjoyed finishing it. I'm not going to say I enjoyed making it. I'm not sure, really, if skinny scarves, these little skinny scarves are my thing. I'm not 100% sure skinny scarves are for me. They're definitely not for me right now because we've moved into May and suddenly Lowestoft, normally grey and chilly, right by the sea, like right, we are on the sea. It's normally grey, it's normally freezing. Suddenly it is hotter than the surface of the sun. There is no way I am putting a woolly scarf around my neck. This is definitely not how this is meant to look, but I don't know. I might potentially, I like a little hairband sometimes, little headband, and I might potentially wear it like that. But definitely, after I've blocked it, flattened out a little bit, it's a little twisty, not too twisty, not unusable, but I would like to block it. It is made from Balmerino Farm DK. I had a 50-gram ball that I bought at Woolly Good Edinburgh last year, which was a lovely show, lovely event. I went to a talk run by the Balmerino Farm owner, and it was fabulous. It was really interesting, really informative, just really, yeah, makes you want to come out and squish all their yarn, definitely. They seemed like very good eggs. So I still have a nice little chunk left. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to do something with it. And it lived in this gorgeous bag from Josie Rose. I love Josie Rose bags. She's a local maker to me. Bags are well made, vinyl front, love to be able to look through them. Now this project is finished, I can take this stuff out and I can use it for something else, maybe something that I can carry around on my wrist, because I need a vanilla knit that I can walk about with. And I think this bag is going to come with me. So those are my two finished objects, but I'm kinda counting this one as a finished object as well. This is my Sweet Shop blanket. If you haven't opened your We Got This mini skein package from April, That would be odd. I feel like they would all definitely be delivered by now. It's been weeks, so everyone should have their mini skeins and have seen them, so this shouldn't be a spoiler for anybody now. I'm kind of calling it a finished object because I think when I originally started this blanket, I said that every time I finished a square, I was going to call it a finished object. Well, I am up to date with my We Got This Mini Skein Blanket Club blanket. This is the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose, and I have now got 12 squares in my blanket. So square 1, 2 and 3 were January's club because it's 3 minis per month, and then month 2 went from here, February, then March, and then April. So we're into blue, and this can now go away until May has all been sent out to everybody and is ready to go in. I'm really happy to have caught up, and I'm so happy that I switched to an alternative contrast colour. So originally I started this with an undyed contrast, and now it is a speckledy dark grey, and this is exactly what I wanted. And I ploughed through this. There was no delay. There was no, I don't want to work on that right now because I want something else and squirrel, because I have just enjoyed this so much. Yeah, I'm actually a bit sad that I'm caught up because it was my vanilla knit, but I am caught up and it means I can do something else. I have used 1 full cake of the grey and 3 grams of the next one to do this 12 squares. 12 squares is a third of the blanket because there'll be 36 squares, so it'll be a 6x6 blanket by the time I'm done. Sorry about the seagulls, I am right by the sea. If you can hear them, they are annoying, I know. Someone actually commented, I can't remember who it was, to say that it made them feel like holiday, like seaside holiday. Well, that's a perk. They just poop on my car, like it's not a bonus. But yeah, so 3 grams into the second cake to get through 12 squares. I have 4 cakes, so I should easily be able to do all of the contrast squares and maybe have a little bit left over for some sort of border. And that is 5 squares wide now. So 1 more square on here, plus I'll block it and it'll grow because it's superwash yarn. This is going to be the perfect little lap blanket size for me on the sofa, I think, hopefully. This is living in a Lay Family yarn bag. I love this bag. I've shown it before. It is woven hand-dyed yarn. And in here as well is a magic knot ball. I am making a magic knot ball from all of the little leftovers. I actually don't know how much is left over of each DK weight mini. I should weigh the leftovers next month and see what's left from each one. But that's pretty substantial. That's 4 months worth of leftover bits into a magic knot ball, and then at the end, I don't know, I'll do something with it, but it's going to make something really pretty and really fun and really nice, maybe for one of my kiddos, but it'll be a big rainbow ball going through all the colours from the year. So I'm just going to keep it going in the bag. It makes me really happy actually, just tying on the next colour and winding it in. This is going to go into a cupboard at the studio ready for the next month to go into it. So now we're properly onto whips. I only have 1 to show you because I finished a few. So the only thing that I'm bringing back to show you is the Granny Bells wrap top. This is living in a pigment and ply project bag that I got at East Anglia Yarn Festival. That is the show that I run. It is a velvet bag. It is beautiful. Jess from Pigment and Ply is so talented, just an absolute artist, and then gets it made on these bags. And this velvet bag in particular, I have a real thing about certain textures, and I love this one so much. I haven't had tons of progress, but it has moved on a little. Oh no, that might be my crochet hook and I'm ripping out stitches. It was my crochet hook. I've got it. Crochet hook is in the bag. I need to start putting a stitch marker onto my live stitch so that I don't lose it. Anyway, I found the 2 triangles. I don't know if I'd found them last week, but I'd lost them for a little bit in the house, but I have found them. They're in the bag, not getting lost again. And I have done probably a round and a half on the square. So because this is now my only leftover whip in the house, it's not my only leftover whip in the house, but it's the only one I'm working on, I would like to have the square back panel finished for next week, and I would like to have done the next step. I think it's joining on the triangles and starting on the sleevey bits, because once those big parts are made, there can't be that much more to go, because then it's just joining it together in sleeves, right? I want to see some proper progress on this for next week. I am making it out of the yarn. Very messy, sorry, I've just shown you a bundle of crochet. The yarn is the Fibre Fox. It's in DK and the colour is Jennifer of Vengerberg. It's been in my stash for a long time. I started making a jumper because I squirreled and walked away and started making something else. It just got put into a bag in my wardrobe for a really long time, but I love the yarn. I want it to be something, and now the jumper that is literally just the yoke made. That doesn't fit me anymore, so I wanted to make something, all the yarn's all caked up, and I'm not going to rip that out. I'm just going to see how I go with all that yarn and then see what's left at the end. I don't think I'll use as much yarn as I would have done for the jumper that I had expected to, so I'll have something left over at the end. Maybe I will see if someone would like to rehome it for me, depending on what I have left. But yeah, that's living in here. It is the only whip that is going to be coming around with me for a little bit until I find some more things, so I'm hoping I'll have some proper progress. So on to plans, and I have made notes because otherwise squirrel brain will be everywhere. I want to finish the Granny Bells wrap top. I don't know if I'll get it finished, I don't know, but fingers crossed. I would like to pick yarn for my next gnome. My next gnome is, from my gnome plan, Natalia. Where are you, Natalia? Here we go. Natalia is the colourwork gnome. There we go. So Natalia is the colourwork gnome. So the majority of Natalia's hat is undyed, the beard is undyed. I need a few little contrasty scraps for the colourwork in the hat, and then I need the body colour. So I'll find those little contrasty scraps from leftover bits around the studio. That won't be a bother, maybe from some of the gnomes that I've already made. But the body yarn, I need to choose a mini for that. Maybe for next week I need to be all lined up and ready to go on Natalia. I'm not necessarily saying I will have cast on, but I would like to have my choices made. I do stock this book. This one is mine, and I just wanted to say a huge thank you. A couple of people have picked the Gnomes of Grimblewood book over the last week, and it means so much to me. I think I have either one or two. I might have 2 copies left in stock. So if you would like to have a little look, they are in the shop, and I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you. My next thing is that I would like to choose a pattern for a crochet thing. I don't know why I keep picking on crochet when I'm not even that good at crochet, and I can't do it without looking or watching the telly at the same time. But I don't know if you'll remember if you've been watching for a while, but this yarn, I bought this from Over the Hook a little while ago before the show. This is for my little girl. So my daughter is 8 years old. I would like to make her a granny hexicardie, but I don't know if this is going to be the thing that I make her. This is definitely for a granny hexicardie for her, but it might not be the thing I make her next, because she saw a little vesty duster thing that was some really cute, colourful granny squares, and then all done together with a cream. And I'd love to make it for her, and she's not very tall, and I just keep thinking, I think I could knock that out quite quickly, and she'd wear it now and love it. So that might be the thing I make for her first. I'm just looking at pattern ideas for crochet fun stuff for her because she's shown an interest, and I want to embrace that while she's shown an interest. And the last plan that I have is something chill, something that I can work on in the evenings when I don't have a lot of brain power left. Now, I have an idea for my 2025 Advent pattern. There is going to be a pattern in the Advent calendar for this year. I do want to get the Advent shawl that I wrote up over last year's Advent out to my testers, completely brain spaced on one little thing. So I've pulled it back, and I need to put that bit back together, and I just keep saying I'm going to do it and not having enough time because there's so much stuff going on. So that is also a plan for this next week, to finally just tweak that pattern, get it out to all the people that have said they will test that for me. So that's one Advent thing. But my next year's pattern, I've actually written out my idea in full, and I have a Crafty Bird Advent calendar. It was either last year's or the year before. I think it was the year before last, and it's beautiful. And I'm going to test out my Advent pattern idea for this year's Advent, different one, on that. So I think I'd like to get the first few minis of that balled up, and I'd like to start my idea, because it's going to be vanilla knit enough that I can do it in the evenings and have a little bit of brain off power, which I would like. If I don't get around to doing that, I need to pick up a pair of half knit socks that are somewhere around here, because honestly I just need to have something so I can have something in my hands when I haven't got any brain power. And I have finished my Sweet Shop blanket, which was my vanilla knit brain off project. So those are all the plans. There is many of them. I'm not sure any of them are going to get done. My feature product for this week is Chalgu needles. So it's actually a bit of a range of things, but I am a Chalgu needle stockist. I have been stocking Chalgu needles since last summer. Only got them onto my website in the last couple of months now, month and a half, because disorganised. This is me. I just brought a few off of the rack to show you, but I do stock the interchangeable tips, the cables, and the fixed needles in a range of different sizes. I try and keep a good range in. I can get in the interchangeable sets as well. They're the needles that I use. I have my own interchangeable set that I have added to as well throughout the years, and I am going to do a video at some point soon showing you how I'm going to reorganise them from the case that they came in into my mood needle case that I haven't started using yet because I want to video using it and I haven't had a second. I love them. I love the joins on the cables to the tips, whether that be on the fixed or the interchangeables. I love the flexibility of the cable. I love the strength. I love the durability. I love how easily they are labelled and marked out. There isn't a single thing that I don't like about them. I like metal needles. Yeah. I literally don't have a bad thing to say about ChiaoGoo, and I've been stocking them for a while now. If you feel like trying them out, I would really recommend them, whether you get them from me or not. Obviously, anybody who gets anything from me, thank you so much. There are other places online that you can get them, and in person. I just really would recommend these actually wherever you get them from, because they are ace. The other little thing that I was going to talk about quickly before I get into reading and watching and all the other stuff is a quick shop update. There is going to be a tiny, minuscule little pre-order going live on Sunday. Sunday is the 4th of May. It is Star Wars Day, and I will have this colourway. Don't know if this is going to show, but this is Stay on Target. This is the full skein of the colour that I used in the body of my gnome, and then the hat colour that I used, which is a Dyad in the Force. So we've got lots of blacks and blues and speckles and greys in here, and then those same greys tie in across this one where we also have orange and cream and other speckledy bits of grey. Yeah, these are the two colours that I came up with for Star Wars Day. I haven't done an update or anything like this in terms of a little pre-order for stuff since Valentine's Day, I don't think. So it's been a little while, been a little minute. It's just a mini one, 2 colours, just so I don't overwhelm myself as well with trying to get lots of things done. I will have these available on DK, on sock. I think that's going to be it for now, other than for minis. I'll have them on DK and sock minis as well, and I will be doing them as a set, so you can get them in full skeins, or you can get a set of 1 mini of Stay on Target, 1 mini of a Dyad in the Force, and then 1 undyed mini, so that if you wanted to match me and make this Star Warsy gnome, you can do. One thing I will just say is definitely check your needle sizes if you want to do it right and not like me. So those are going to go live on Sunday at 10 AM. I have never put anything live on my website at 10 in the morning before, and I'm a bit nervous. I don't know if anyone will be interested. If folks are, I will have a limited quantity at this point, only because I want to do a rather short turnaround on getting these sent out to people. So if I hit that quantity, I'll close it off. It will come back in the future, I'm sure, maybe. Just depends on when. But if you'd like to get it now, it'll be in that pre-order. If it's not very popular, it'll stay open for a little while. It's not a pressure thing with that. It's just if you wanted to get it relatively soon, that's the way to get it. So moving on to watching. I have been watching Doctor Who. The most recent episode, first of all, I did love the fact that they're harking back to a little bit of previous stuff. I'm trying not to do any spoilers because nobody wants a spoiler. I was both scared and I cried. I love a Doctor Who episode that makes you cry. Yeah, I cried and was terrified. It was brilliant. I am excited for Saturday. We've also together watched the first, me and Chris, this is me and my husband, not me and together with the internet. We've also watched the first episode of Race Across the World. I really enjoyed the first few series of Race Across the World. This first episode has not caught me yet. I actually found a little bit of it a bit annoying, but you know, can't be everyone's cup of tea. I'm sure I'm annoying to a lot of people. Yeah, we'll see if we keep on going with that, because there's another episode out and I haven't been desperate to get that watched. I have carried on a little bit with Wheel of Time. As I said before, haven't got a lot of watching time right now, but I am now on series 3. I think I've watched 1 episode of series 3 so far. Reading, I have finished a book. I finished The Seaside Sleepover by Jacqueline Wilson. Really enjoyed it, actually. It was really nice. There was nothing in there that wasn't appropriate for my 8-year-old. I haven't read the other books in that series. I think it's book number 3, and it didn't matter. You could just pick it up from where it was. I've put it straight into Ellie's room when she's ready. She's on the Dogman books at the moment. She's really into graphic novels at the moment. We went through a very big Pokemon stage. Now we're in Dogman. And I've put it on her bookshelf so she can read it when she wants to. She took one look at it underneath the dust jacket as well and was like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So she's keen to read that, and she's really excited as well to read a book that I read on my own. We read together every day and we're working through a few different books now, but the fact that I read this book and now I've given it to her, it was like a, wow, I've got this thing. So she's excited to read it, and I think she'll really like it. It was just really lovely, and yeah, it actually made me feel really good about the fact that I live in a seaside town and reminded me that I need to really make the most of that this summer as well, because we did go to the beach. We always go to the beach, but we could do it a bit more, and it's free and it's right there, and we should make more use of it, definitely. So that's what I've finished in terms of what I'm reading, and I have made a list because if I don't make notes, my brain is like a sieve. I am still going on my audiobook, which is It Just Me by Miranda Hart. I have 2 hours and 51 minutes left. It is a 7-hour and 21-minute book, so I'm doing all right. It's just been with me on and off little bits here and there this week. It'll be finished by next week, I'm sure. I am actually enjoying it. She's just, I love her tone of voice. I love how bonkers she is. It's just easy and nice, and she's so chill and makes you feel good about the world and makes you feel heard, and like other people's brains work the same way yours does. I was a bit worried to start with that it would be a bit too all over the place for me, and it is a bit, but I'm still liking it. On my Kindle, I'm reading The Vampire Knitting Club by Nancy Warren. That is one that I am reading just before bed, a little bit here and there. I'm about 45% of the way through now, so I am actually making good progress considering it only gets like 10 minutes here and there, and I'm actually really enjoying that too. I thought it looked really cheesy. I don't know what the rest of the books in that series would be like, but I'd definitely be interested in getting the next one. It's just an easy read and it is interesting at the moment. Yeah, so we'll see where it goes. But I am reading another paper book, which after I finished The Seaside Sleepover, I grabbed this off my bookshelf. Now, I cannot for the life of me remember if I've read this before. It's The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. It's a Hunger Games book. I finished Haymitch's book last week and just had an absolute hunger to get straight back to the Hunger Games books. I am really enjoying this, really enjoying it, absolutely loving it. And I'm only on page 73 of 500 and whatever. I have seen the movie, so I do know the story from there, which is why I'm struggling to remember whether I've read it or not. But there's so many bits as I go through that I'm like, yeah, I remember that. And that's too much detail for it to be from the movie. But I'm not 100%. I'm enjoying it anyway, doesn't matter. My brain is so awful. I forget stuff so much. I suppose that could actually be a bit of a blessing when it comes to books, because I get more than one read out of them sometimes because I've completely forgotten what they were about a couple of years down the line. On to life. Everything's just been a bit crazy. Show applications went live. They were meant to go live yesterday during the day at some point. They went live at about 11 o'clock at night because I was just tweaking the application and working through it all, making sure everything was correct and panicking over it. So as of now, the vendor applications for East Anglia Yarn Festival 2026 are live. If you have any small businesses that you really want to see there, let them know the applications are open. I have also gone through all of the suggestions for the Makealong for both the knit and the crochet patterns for next year. I have now got 4 knit and 4 crochet patterns ready for people to vote on. So that's a big job done. I just need to get them all up and formatted into posts so that people actually can vote. That will probably be in our Instagram stories. Again, it's the easiest way for me to get that all sorted, and then we'll have our patterns picked for the Makealong for next year's show. Life stuff. Okay, my brother had a housewarming party. I went dressed as a laundry basket. It was a fancy dress, go as a household item housewarming party. Everyone dressed up, everyone looked amazing. My cousin went as a fridge. It was epic. The fridge even opened. It had a fridge space in it. I went as a basket of washing. Accidentally walked into his next door neighbour's house thinking it was his house and scared the life out of them. In my defence, they did open the door and sort of let me in while I was saying, is this his house? Yeah, got right into their living room in a very confused state going, is this? Because it's a new house, I hadn't been there before. And turned out it was next door. My cousin came to rescue me. So yeah, my usual self, to be honest. I don't know why they let a woman wearing a washing basket into their front room. We have a bit of a Lego situation going on. Both my children are currently in a very big Lego phase, and my daughter has decided she wants to spend all of the money she has saved up on Lego. It's a whole thing. I'm buried under Lego. There are worse things to be buried under, I'm sure, but when you step on about 1 million Lego bricks a day, it doesn't feel like it. We had a birthday. We've actually got another birthday today. We've got 2 birthdays for very, very loved members of my family, which has been lovely because I've seen them. And I also had a chat with my GP. So I've talked about health stuff before, but they're going with the diagnosis for the hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos because they can do a clinical diagnosis from their checklist that they have or whatever. But I have heard back from the referral system that they used to look into, particularly vascular was the one that they were concerned about, because they have a lot of the symptoms of that, especially with stuff happening on my body and wound healing and stuff like that. Stuff that nobody really wants to hear about. But unfortunately in my area, they've just said to try to manage all of the worrying symptoms that I'm having, like pain management and the hypermobile stuff and all things like that. Just try and manage that at my GP level, because they're not going to take anyone onto those specialist lists. I've had lots of conversations, chats with folks who say that the government wants the wait list to come down, so they are rejecting referrals, not taking referrals, because if they do that en masse, then the wait list will automatically come down, stuff like that. You know, you have to fight to get absolutely anything. It's a real shame, because I kind of had that feeling of like knowledge is power. I want to know all the things that are going on with my body. I want to kind of have an answer to them, and then I want to look after my body in a way that it needs and try and give myself the best shot at being the strongest I can be and the most comfortable I can be. And I don't want to just have medication constantly thrown at me if there's something I can do to help myself. But that's just life, isn't it? Just got to carry on. Keep on keeping on. We've got this. Yeah, can't have everything. And I know that there is avenues to be able to do things privately. I don't have money to be able to do that. It's just not something that's available for me right now. And that's okay. It's just life. There are a lot of people in worse situations, and I am trying to just get on with it, because can't let it ruin your day, can you? So yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy week. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong over and over and over again. And there's been a few times that I've had a lot of tummy problems and stuff like that this week. So I'm not living my absolute best life, but I'm doing my best. I've definitely found a lot of support from people through this podcast as well, folks who have the same kind of issues that I do, and it just makes you remember that you're not alone in this, and a lot of people are having the same sort of issues, and I'm grateful. So thanks, guys. I think that's everything for this week. I'm sure there'll be about 50 million things that I've forgotten that I'll think about later. I'll be back next week with another episode, hopefully, and have actually made some progress on things. If you've got to the very end, I think I've used this one recently, but let's have the sunshine emoji again, because it is actually hotter than the surface of the sun here right now. I don't know what is going on. So if you've got all the way to the end, thank you so much. Well done you. I know I'm a bit of a chore. And just for sticking with me and having a chat, thank you so much as well. As always, thank you for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.